this isn't the first time we've covered the whole idea of English exceptionism, and especially the nostalgia for the British Empire is been at somewhat of a sticking point, and really what is the trouble of causing all these Brexit negotiations. Of course the EU should give in to us because we are the British people, we are the British nation, we are somehow, quote, superior to those dastardly Europeans trying to keep us in this very disagreeable union. And of course, one of my very first big videos ever on Brexit was all about Empire 2.0 and Brexiteers somehow, but in the belief that Brexit was the rebirth of this British Empire, that it was going to be the re-signalling, the rebirth and rekindling, Empire 2.0 we called it, the rebirth of the Commonwealth. And of course, all through that year, those were just put to absolute shame and put to bed, essentially. But now, Boris and his entire cabinet are almost trying to reenact the 19th century in terms of trade policy and just policy in general, and it is absolutely quite shocking. But this comes from the London School of Economics, and the title is "Brexit Will Not Be Done Until Johnson's 19th Century British Empire Tribute Act Cabinet is Replaced." The decision of the Prime Minister to tell British people to prepare for a no-deal Brexit is about as surprising as the news that Pope Francis embraces the Roman Catholic faith. Similarly, Boris is blaming the EU for the failure of his vacuous Brexit strategy is like learning that bears defecate in the wood. So, is to continue the theme of non-surprises, here's what Boris Johnson actually said, as he blamed the European Union for his own failure to secure a deal. Given that they have refused to negotiate seriously for the past few months, I've concluded that we should get ready for January the 1st with arrangements that are more like Australia, based on simple principles of global free trade. Australia, in fact, is trying to negotiate a comprehensive free trade agreement with the EU. But, like, say, Somalia and soon Britain, Australia does not have a free trade agreement at present. Curiously, Mr. Johnson didn't say Britain should prepare for a Somalia-type deal, for reasons that I will leave to your imagination. The United Kingdom has had 4.5 years of Conservative governments who could have negotiated a deal. They failed, although since Mr. Johnson, as usual, has set himself a serious phony deadlines, a deal of some sort could still emerge. But what is astonishing is the naivete of those involved. Here is a man Johnson chose to be the UK's chief negotiator, David Frost, now Lord Frost. Disappointed, he tweeted, because the European Union leaders, in essence, stuck by something that Angela Merkel said 4 years ago, that the UK cannot have a deal with the benefits of membership of the single market without actually being in the single market. Then, Lord Frost says he is surprised the EU is no longer working intensively to reach a future partnership. Also surprised by the suggestion that all future moves must come from the UK. Oof! What a blow to Frosty there. I've spent years working with compliment diplomats from all over the world. They are never surprised by something after 4.5 years of talking about it. Even the most naive member of Boris Johnson's government surely must have noticed that 67 million people in the United Kingdom will not be able to persuade some 450 million in the EU that we hold all the cards. Two things, therefore, are notable from Boris Johnson's outburst. The first is that it plays well with the Brexit hardliners, the ones who want to give lorry drivers special passports for Kent. Builders are currently creating a massive lorry park in this great county, which in all fairness should be formally named the Nigel Farage Memorial Lorry Park as his gift to the nation. Which it is. Go sign that petition. I'm sure someone will put it in the links below. Second, Johnson's word could also just be bluff and bluster. And that's the key problem. No one believes Boris Johnson on anything anymore. He had two views on Brexit, for and against. He has two views on coronavirus, follow the science or following his right-wingers. He has two views on business. It's the backbone of Great Britain, or, as he put it, fuck businesses. He has two views on law and regulations. Obey them, or, like Dominic Cummings and the government's new internal market bill, don't bother. He has two views on the Northern Ireland. As Mrs Thatcher said, it's as British as Finchley, or, as Johnson conceded, there's to be a customs border between Northern Ireland and the rest of the UK. Or not. Because Boris Johnson doesn't actually believe in anything except his own genius, he has a style rather than an ideology. Or he may mean what he wants, a no deal Brexit, or it could be a bluff, and he will do what he did with Northern Ireland. Surrender his supposed red lines and declare it's all a world-beating success. But we should remember that this is the Prime Minister who won the December 2019 election with advertisements saying, "Ding, our Brexit deal is ready, #vote Conservative." He was elected on a lie. So is his threat of a no deal just another lie? Perhaps Johnson himself doesn't really know, but Brexit is certainly not done. Deal or no deal, it will not be done for years until the United Kingdom finds a competent government to tune with the real world, rather than Mr Johnson's cabinet from the 19th century performing the British Empire Tribute Act. And since Mr Johnson and his chief negotiator seem to be constantly surprised by events, here's what's coming. The Johnson legacy will be a botched Brexit, a botched handling of the coronavirus, and a massive economic slowdown. Plus, as I argue in my forthcoming book, How Britain Ends, as the leader of the Conservative and Unionist Party, Boris Johnson is destroying what we used to call the United Kingdom. And I just completely agree. There is just absolute, he's a complete fool. And, what did people expect when they elected him? To quote what the article that we went through a couple of weeks ago, no, it wasn't that. It was someone who commented, I think it was, who went, the British people expected a fun parliament. Instead, what they got was a complete circus of horrors. And it's true. We are in an absolute circus of horrors. Boris Johnson is the leader, and he is the one that gets to make this up. And the problem is Boris Johnson lies continuously. He has two opinions on everything, both for and against. And the problem is you don't know which is the one he really wants. Now, I suspect, hopefully, that this is just all a massive, blunder and just a massive, political tomfoolery. And hence that speech on Friday, those hallowed 15 seconds, were just to, ease and give the hard Brexiteers something to feed on, while he secretly, hopefully, just decides to go and do a deal. And because it's what this country desperately needs. It needs a deal in order to survive. And as I've said, once we get a deal, then all we do is just slowly slide back in. And, economics will not be denied. And even if we don't get a deal, it's going to be absolutely disastrous for this country. We're going to see, unemployment on a scale maybe we haven't even seen since the 80s, maybe even possibly more. And if you look at, obviously the coronavirus has currently wiped out 20% of our GDP. The estimates, the conservative Rust estimate for a no deal is 8%. So that's 28%, almost 30% of our economy gone. And it's very possible that because we go for a no deal, that other things take hold as well and damage our economy even more. So you could potentially be looking at a 30% of our GDP gone. That would be absolutely disastrous. And I hope to God that this is just some sort of political play and that Boris Johnson knows that he needs a deal and that it's time to, tell Frost just to do the deal and sign the agreement. I hope so. But please do press that like and share button. If you are new, do hit that subscribe button as well. We do talk about British politics and Brexit. And of course, as it said, Brexit is yet to be done. And trust me, Brexit is going to cast a very, very long shadow on British politics for some time to come. And of course, with that said, if you'd like to support the channel in a different way, there are links to my Patreon page and a one-off donation link down below. And thank you to the people that do support me that way. So with that said, thanks for watching, and we'll see you all next time.